Today we are swapping injectors again. We are going back with another set of diesel auto power 150 horsepower injectors, except this time the pop pressure is adjusted a little more accordingly, so we don't have any stalling issues trying to reverse out of the alleyway or to getting out of like steep parking spots and stuff like that. And these also have VCO tips on them instead of SAC tips. So we are going to see what kind of difference that makes for us as well. General breakdown is done. Intake horn out of the way. Throttle position sensor set off to the side. Same with the grid heater. And we got the intake little hole there plugged. Now we're going to try and do this without pulling the lines off all on the bottom there. We're just going to loosen all of the hold downs up at the top here because we recently did the O-rings on the injector tubes, so we don't need to take those all the way out. We just need to get the lines loose enough so that they pop out of the way a little bit, so we can pop the connecting tubes out just enough to pull the injectors up and out, swap them, and then pop everything right back in place. Or that's the idea at least. Alrighty, all of the lines and hold downs are loose. As you can see, they get out of the way for the most part. And that first connecting tube is already popped out just enough. So he will go along and pop the other 5 out. And then we will move on to pulling the injectors up. Now that the connecting tubes are all popped out of the way, we're going to take that 8mm and pull off that one bolt closest to us. And then that whole injector hold down will just lift out of the way. Good.
Okay, yeah, no, it just came up. Just in here?
Yep, then you take one of your valve cover bolts and you thread it into the top of your injector just a little bit, and then you can pull up. Might come out by hand, you might need a little extra force. Oh, and there we go. And it pops right out, and as you'll see, the copper washer came with it as well. You want to, it's probably the most important part, you want to make sure they always come out with the injector, because if you double stack copper washers in there, you're going to have problems. And here is the new injector. First thing, we're going to take some oil and put it on the main O-ring there so it goes in without any damage. And then the copper washer here is not wanting to stay on the injector very solidly. So we're either going to try and stick it down in the hole first, or we're going to dab some oil on it and see if the oil holds it on there. And when you're going to put this in and orientate it, that there is going to be where your connector tube inserts into the injector. So you're going to want to generally line that up when you go to place it down there. And once you set it there, you can also take the injector hold down and then loosely kind of set it in place on top of the injector, just to make sure you got it pretty much in the right direction there.
Side slow.
Alright, once you get it generally in there, you just take some pressure on top of your bolt there and it should pop down in place. Ooh, perfect. That is exactly what we were looking for. And then we'll really know if we're home free when we take that connector tube over there. You can actually do that right now if you want, and then it should pop.
Push that through or do that?
No, the connector tube. It should pop right back in place.
Okay, well it's not quite doing that.
I put the camera down for just a second and I missed it snapping in right there. But the connecting tube sounded just like the injector. But I will show you again on the second injector, just so you can see the whole process. Now we are going ahead and putting the injector hold down back, but we're not going to tighten it down. We're just going to snug it in place so we don't lose nothing. And then when it is time to put all the injector lines back on, you're going to tighten Injector hold down just a smidge, then the injector line, or connecting tube, then injector, then line, back and forth until you get them both snug there.
No copper wash.
Go. Of course, the woman wanted videos, so it won't just pop in. Boom, just like that.
Tiniest little adjustment.
And now everything is back together, and cylinder 1 and 3 fuel lines are broken loose. So now we just got to try and turn it over until we get fuel out of those, then tighten them up, and it should turn right over. Help if I turned it on. Well, that went about as easy as it was going to get. Cylinder 1 was spitting out fluid before we even started it. Cylinder 3, it only took about 5 seconds of cranking before we got fuel out of there. Then we tightened up number 3, another 5 seconds of cranking so, and it fired right up. Now it's test drive time to see if our idle chop issue at 5 miles an hour or under is solved. I forget where we left off, but I've been driving around on these injectors for like 2 weeks now. And the biggest issue with the last set was that the pop pressure was set a little bit too high. So when you're in a parking spot that is angled to the back like this one, and you tried to reverse out of it, or like if you reverse out of our driveway into the alleyway, and you give it a little bit of gas to get over the driveway hump, and then you let off so you don't hit the fence, it always wanted to die. But the pop pressure is readjusted with this set, so you'll notice it's, I'll let this person go first. So we make loud jabbing exhaust noises. Alright, so you'll notice I can turn out of here, and you can sit there and flop the gas all you want, and it's just fine. We'll pull up to even more of an incline over here. Alright, now the last pop pressure is guaranteed that if I just drop it and let off like that, any of that at low speed, it would guaranteed shut off, and I'd have been rolling backwards down that hill. So, we definitely fixed that issue for sure. These injectors are also VCO tips, as to where the last set was SAC tips. And that is supposed to make for a slightly cleaner injection event. I can't really tell a whole lot from the driver's seat personally, but they do seem slightly cleaner on the very low end.
will say, as a passenger, I can actually see now, whereas I used to, it was just a black haze in front of me the entire time. So, we're about to do another pull. You'll see there will be a bit of smoke at the beginning, and then it will clear up fairly quickly.
Alrighty, so we've fixed our stalling out at low end issues. It is cleaner up top and a little bit down low. And outside of that, not really sure what to give you other than we'll blow some smoke and do some entertaining diesel things to close this one out. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.